This software will show you how to retrieve a signal sequence file from a SSM12LE using the serial port with the ECcom software. I'm going to show you how and where to download the ECcom software itself, how to connect everything to the monitor to make sure that we grab the files. Once we do that, we're going to make sure that the monitor is then connected to the ECcom software, and from there we're going to go ahead and read and troubleshoot the signal sequence file, and we're also going to show you how to save it and email it to someone. So with that, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and bring up your internet, because we're going to go ahead and retrieve the software. In this case, we're going to go to the ECcom, and this is our home page. We're going to go ahead and type in ECcom and hit search. It's going to bring up the web, or it shows you where you go. You're going to click on this. This brings up the ECcom software web page. There's documents, but click right here, and this is going to download the file. And if you notice, it's right there. Once it's completed, the circle is done. You double click on it, it's going to open your file manager. You're going to go ahead and hit setup and go ahead and run the software and answer all the questions. It will set up the ECcom software on your computer, and you should get this icon. If you don't get the icon, go ahead and go here and type in ECC, and if you notice, it pops up here, so you have your ECcom. But now we're going to go ahead and show you how to connect the monitor. With your SSM12LE, you see that there's a DB9 connector. You're going to go ahead and take your cable, which should be a serial connection, straight through, not crossover. Plug it in. Make sure your power is on, and then you go ahead and go back to the software to connect. Now that we have the monitor connected, we're going to go ahead and hit the icon, which will fire up our software. One of the things you're going to need to do, especially on the first one, if you notice down here, it says that at EIA 232 port equals COM4. Alright, so it's important that to set up the communication. So we're going to go to this communication port, and we're going to go to set ports. In this case, we've already have it on EIA 232, but we need to know what the COM port is. The best way to figure out what the COM port is to come down here to your Windows search engine and type in DEV device manager, and if you notice it comes up, we're going to click on this. Here's your device manager. You're going to go here and you're going to look at the port. In this case, we have two things connected on port 3 and port 4. So at this time, go ahead and disconnect the monitor from the DB9. When you do that, one of these are going to disappear. In this case, it was COM4. So we're going to plug it back in. Once we plug it back in, COM4 is there, and now we know that what we want to go to is port 4. So this has got to be port 4. We also want the pairing to be none and then 9600. This is usually defaulted, but just want to make sure you know that. Click here, and it says that you got a new port selected. We're going to go here, and then what I usually do is hit this little question here, and it tells me that I'm now successfully connected to the monitor, meaning that I'm seeing the monitor. If you notice, when I clicked on this, a blue line came up over here. That's just telling you that it's communicating. Alright, so now let's talk about this icon is to grab files or open a file, and that's from your computer, not from the monitor. This is to save a file to your computer. This is to print a file. Here is going to give you the status of the intersection. So if it's in a cabinet, if the monitor's in a cabinet and you click on this, you're going to see red, yellow, green pop up here. I'm not connected to a cabinet. I'm just connected to a power outlet that energizes the monitor. If you want that, please contact me and I will send you a little piece of paper or a little how to make a AC plug turn into a test cable for a monitor. So in this case, if you see everything's grayed out, it's because I'm asking the question, what's my status? When I turn this update off, you're going to notice now I can look at everything again. Here's your configuration. This way you can look at, and I'm going to go ahead and close this out, I'm going to look at the dip switches and the program card. So if you notice the signal sequence monitor, none of them are turned on, and everything's turned off, and there's nothing on the program card, no jumpers. Okay. If you ever want to look at the jumpers without taking the program card out, you can bring this up, hit configuration, and it'll show you the jumpers. This is just to get check status. This is something that I may ask you if you ever have a problem to fetch this information for me. And then I'm going to show you if you hit get all logs. Well, let's talk about the icons. This is to grab files. This is to save what you just brought in. And of course, I'll talk more about this. Here's the print. This is going to give you status. When you click on this, it shows that we are connected to a monitor. There's no faults, but there's no power input either. I'm going to go ahead and get the configuration. If you notice up here, it said that it read the unit and grabbed it in. If you notice, the program card is blank. The SSM switches are on because X equals on, and here it shows you all the setups on your switch. I'm going to go ahead and close that. What we're now going to do is, this is right here, this little icon here. If you highlight over, it says get all logs, or you can also get up here and do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and say get all logs, but before we do that, we're going to go ahead and turn off the configuration. I'm going to say get all logs. When you get all logs, there's 5 logs that it will retrieve. With that, and the last log that it retrieves is a comprehensive log. Now the comprehensive log, if you notice, it says unsaved. You're going to want to go ahead and highlight this file, click on the save button, and now you're going to go ahead and you're going to save this as a log. So in this case, I'm going to go to temp. I have one that says test web test, and then I'm going to go ahead and call this First Street in Maine. So I'm going to go ahead and save. In this case, I'm just going to replace the one that was already up there. Now that's saved. Now to save the signal sequence file, if you notice it is not saved, you're going to be wanting to do the highlight this, hit the save button, and now you can go ahead and save this. With the understanding this is going to save it as an SSQ file. In this case, I've already started that. I'm going to go ahead here, I'm going to overwrite it, and now I saved it. So we showed you how to connect the unit, how to download the ECcom software. Now I'm going to tell you how to read and troubleshoot a file. In this case, this one that I downloaded is pretty simple. There's just all conflicts. This has not been connected to an intersection, so the files here are somewhat worthless. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and open a file, a known good file, and I'm going to come up here to City Files, and I'm going to go ahead and open Alaska. In Alaska, if you notice, it says logs. Right here, I want to be signal sequence file, which is SSQ. I'll go ahead and open this. The first fault is just a local flash fault, which when they got there, it was in local flash. The police turned it on there. But the second one is they had a problem where they had a clearance or skipped yellow. Now the way this works is, here's when the monitor tripped, and then it shows you 30 seconds before the trip. So there's 6 seconds. Here's 11 seconds, 17 seconds, 20 seconds, and 30 seconds right there. So now we can go and just watch the intersection. It was running normal on 2 and 6 with the PEDs flashing on 13 and 15. We're getting there. Now we're getting to 15 seconds. Let's quick here. Get down to 2 seconds. Now, if you noticed right here, something happened where we went from a green directly to a red, which is bad, also known as a skipped yellow. The only thing that really can cause this is the controller is the one that takes the load switches and tells it to go all red. So in this case, the controller told the load switches that it wants to restart the intersection, so it skipped the yellow and went right to red. So that's what triggered. This is why the signal sequence file is very helpful for rapid pulses. You can see how it will flash. Like here, if you notice, it's a normal flash, but with the with something unusual, skipped yellow, or noise, or a rapid flash, you will be able to see that in this. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at support@editraffic.com, or you can call us on the direct line for tech support, 602-396-1284.